Well, this year, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim will be celebrating their 50th anniversary. Thanks so much for joining us today. I'm Maria Serrao, joined by Doug Hughes, and we're in the actual Angel dugout right here in Tempe Stadium during spring training. So it's very exciting. We were at the Dodger win yesterday, and we were in their practice field dugout, and now today we're in the dugout for the stadium.
Today we have penetrated the actual dugout. I am hoping to suit up and get in an inning, perhaps a middle inning out in the outfield, just sort of stay under radar, sneak in.
Doug?
God, no, but a little right field would be therapeutic. It's spring training. Who's going to stop me?
Who's going to stop you? They probably won't know if you have a uniform on.
At this place is so friendly that if I were at a major league camp and we're going to try to bust in, sneaking onto the field and playing a half inning,
it would never happen.
But it would be with the Angels. They are friendly enough that I would be gently escorted away by security, not handcuffed until I was out of sight of the crowd.
But don't try to steal the bubble gum or the sunflower seeds behind us, because
which are free.
It's really Doug's lunch, but we won't talk about that.
I'm like a baseball player. I'm cheap. They make a meal out of anything. And here we have sunflower seeds, the bazooka bubblegum, traditional dugout fare, the big container of Gatorade, which hopefully will be getting dumped on Mike Scioscia at the end of the year.
At the end of the year, not quite now.
No, you don't do it on opening day. Hey, boss, how about this?
I don't think he would appreciate that.
That will not fly. He's got a great sense of humor, but probably not that good. So, but for now, this is life in a dugout. We have everything that is standard. The rubber floor, which is
and the dirt. Well, as you can see, maybe you can see the dirt down there.
This is made for a baseball player. The rubber floor, so your spikes will hold and you won't fall. The sunflower seeds that are the staple of any baseball player's diet. The gum that has replaced smoke-free tobacco.
And a lot of spit. They spit
a lot of spitting.
Here.
Hence the rubber.
I know. Well, let's talk about some of these players now. They're getting ready. We were just in the locker room with the Angels, and they are really ready to go this year, and they should be. They've got Vernon Wells, who's joined them. He's a big guy. He's a power hitter, and they're excited. I mean, they're excited to have Vernon Wells here, as they should be. And, of course, Torii Hunter, who is the leader in that locker room. What did he say? It's his 19th?
His 19th
spring training.
Yeah, how many guys can hang on to a job for 19 years?
Not too many.
This is a good outfield. We're going to talk a little more about what goes into this team, but they have driven the VW down from Toronto. They've had him cross the border. They've got Vernon Wells. He is, along with Torii Hunter, a great anchor for this outfield.
Amazing.
Two incredibly powerful, well-built guys who know how to play the game, good defensive players, all kinds of pop in the bat. That is a strength of this team.
Yes, and Torii Hunter having a great spring. He's already hit a couple of home runs. He hit one the other day, and then he got the flu, but he's better now, so we're glad, because it was just a one-day flu, which is good.
We were still keeping our distance from him in the locker room, but he's got pop in the bat, and he will steal some home runs during the year. He'll hit 20 and take 2 or 3 away, which is pretty amazing. He is an exciting defensive player to watch. His basic skills, extremely sound. The way he tracks the ball, goes to the wall, goes up and get it. We all remember the All-Star game where he stole one from Barry Bonds.
Right.
Just one of many for him. He is a solid outfield player.
You know, and it's interesting because, as you'll remember, last year he was playing center field, and then they moved him to right field. And I asked him, I said, what's it like going to right? And he said, that's kind of boring. I'm used to being in the middle with all the action, but he made an amazing catch at Fenway Park, and we all teased him afterwards and said, okay, Torii, it can't be that boring because you just leaped up 50 feet up in the air to catch that ball.
50 feet, slight exaggeration, but
I think it was.
Right field does have less going on. The 3 outfield positions are distinct as we look out. Left field, if a guy can't move, generally left field is where you can stick him. There's less going on there. Center field is where you want your fast, mobile guy. That's why to me, Torii Hunter is a center fielder, and I would keep him there until he's in his 90s.
But trust me, he's great and right.
Well, and right fielder needs the big gun. He needs the strong throw to go home. That same distance for left, where the rubber meets the road for a right fielder is his arm cutting down runners at third, trying to go from first to third on a single. That's what's going on with a right fielder. And Torii Hunter's skill set to me is a little better suited to covering. He's the high priority super outfielder.
Would you like to tell Mike Scioscia that, or do you think
let me go in and straighten him out on this right away. Mike, I need a minute. By Mike Scioscia, we'll get to him later. I would not presume to tell Mike Scioscia anything. He
is the second longest tenured manager in baseball now. That's amazing.
Behind who?
Behind Tony La Russa.
Tony La Russa. And in terms of skill, you always hear Tony La Russa is a super manager, and people pay a lot of money for him. Mike Scioscia has been here for quite a while. What he's done here and what he has done statistically is amazing. Of course, he's carried the team into the postseason. They have a World Series under his belt. Bill James, the baseball statistician, who is sometimes criticized for doing too much with numbers, but does a breakdown every year of what should your record be, what should your win-losses be, your production based on the individual stats of your players. For the last 7 years in a row, every year, the Angels have been the highest performing. They have the sum of their parts has been greater than the bits and pieces.
That's right.
The whole. And that is the manager. That is Mike Scioscia. He deserves the tag super manager. He's second in line behind Tony La Russa in terms of tenure. In terms of baseball managing genius, I think it is fair to go ahead and hang the genius tag on this guy. People don't do it. He's so laid back. He's easygoing. Make no mistake, Mike Scioscia is a baseball genius. He
is, and not only that, but he is a real baseball manager. I mean, he's very hands-on with the players. You know, we see him all the time interacting, and he's just had an amazing, amazing history in baseball. He knows the game very well. He's a great guy, and there's just a fine line between that being in it for a really long time and really knowing it, and being able to relate to players, which we talk about all the time as well.
Yeah, he does both. He's one of these guys. He calls players by his nicknames, but he's the boss.
He's the boss.
You'll see him out goofing around.
Dad,
he's running the bases. He's got the stopwatch tag flapping. He's out running around. He's palling around. He's the boss. He's the dad. Dad will play with the kids on the weekend, but if you break something and there's going to be some punishment coming down,
restriction for
you got to talk to Dad, and that's Mike Scioscia. He runs this club firmly, but with a great sense of relating to the players. He's behind the plate so many years. I love seeing catchers as managers. They know
you see a lot of them too. We talk about that. Yeah,
percentage of people. The list is long, and shortstops are the other people who I like to see managing. You don't get that much, but as a catcher, Mike Scioscia knows this game intimately. He knows how to run the players. He moves all the pieces around. He does it statistically better than anyone in baseball, better than Tony La Russa.
Wow, that's pretty high praise coming from you, Doug.
Yeah, it's really high praise, and it's not coming from me. It's coming out of the numbers. I don't do this stuff. I do not make this stuff up. He is a terrific manager. He is the difference between what this team can do on paper and then what it goes ahead and does.
Okay, I want to talk about some things on paper in a minute, but I want to go back to the Vernon Wells, because Vernon Wells came here, and when he did, it was kind of like last minute, you know, right at the trade deadline in the winter. And what's interesting to me is all of these teams trying to get all of these, you know, marquee guys through the winter, and I don't understand why they pay such huge money, and if they don't get one player, they said, you know, this team blew it, that team blew it. Jason Worth, perfect example. I love him. We've known him forever. He was a Dodger, great guy, but all of a sudden this winter he turned into this super guy that the Nationals paid over $100 million for. And great for him, good for you, he's a good player, but when did he come into the super player category?
Well, people debate that, and in Washington, I live in the Washington, D.C. area, and we're thrilled. We're thrilled to have him. Everyone else is saying, oh my goodness, you overpaid for Jason Worth. You know, we say in D.C., we don't care. We are happy to have Jason Worth.
Right.
And the Phillies are sour grapes. The primary baseball writer in the Inquirer there said, well, he's a nice player, but we can do without him. When he was there, he and Ryan Howard were the heart of that order. They protected each other. He was a terrific hero. They, I think, are so upset that he's gone, they're denigrating him. They're saying, oh, he's a nice player. He's more than a nice player. He's a terrific player. Is he worth the whatever $100 million he got? You can debate that. As a fan, who cares? They're happy to have him there, and he was able to negotiate that money. No one held a gun to the learners' heads. They sat down, they wrote the check freely, they posed with him, they put their arms around him, and with the stupid #1 shirt, you always say, everyone's happy to have him there. Is he a super player? He is very close to it.
I think so, but I think that there's so much that actually goes into bringing a player in on your team, okay? I mean, like, Vernon Wells fits in very well here. Some guys come in, and you can see that they're a little bit uncomfortable. You know, Dan Herron came in here at the end of last season, and he's fit in very well. I think that you have to have that fitting in very well, or you're in trouble, and this organization knows how to do that very well. So if you don't get the big marquee player, I don't think you need it.
To me, Vernon Wells is the big marquee player.
Of course he is,
well,
absolutely.
and everyone is critical of the Angels. Well, they didn't get Carl Crawford, and they didn't get this guy. And
again, when did Carl Crawford turn into like the guy to have on your team? That's what I'm saying.
I know.
So what makes one better than the other one?
Carl Crawford is loaded with potential. What has he done so far? He hasn't done a ton so far. What has Vernon Wells done? A ton. He is a good player. He's a known quantity. He is a great addition to this club. People got a little critical of the Angels because they didn't make some of the moves that people thought they should be trying to make. Who knows what the Angels were even really trying to do, but people were saying, oh, they should be doing this and that, and instead they got Wells. Well, to me, they got Wells. They got Vernon Wells.
A great guy.
That is a good thing for this team.
Absolutely. We had a chance to catch up with some of the players a little bit earlier, talking about spring training and how it's going so far, so let's take a look.